of the night, the probably best match of the the best match of the pay-per-view, probably one of the best incidents that has ever happened in the last 21 years. We were children, almost. Some of
Speak for
y'all are
yourself.
old as beans. Speak for yourself, children. When John Cena originally entered into the WWE, he came in during the Ruthless Aggression Challenge of Kurt Angle, basically said, "What do you have, son?" He said, "Ruthless aggression." 21 years of John Cena, highs, lows, everything in between. We even had a reality series, and not once did this man become a heel. Not once did this man cross over to the dark side. He has faced Vince McMahon, Stephanie, corporations, Undertaker, countless people, Hogan, racist Hogan, everyone and your mama. He has been loyal to WWE. He has made 15 billion Make-A-Wish children happy. All of the children from Make-A-Wish has made a wish with him. He has granted all of them. He has been in movies and TV shows, but he has always been respectable and nice and decent and just corny. Even when he was a rapper, he didn't mean any harm with his rapping. Remember the rap era? I forgot what they called it. But there was
Thugonomics?
a whole Thugonomics. He was the doctor of the Thugonomics, but he was never the angry doctor, the bad doctor, malpractice doctor. He was just the doctor. We loved him. And that forever changed tonight of yesterday when we've witnessed something we've been asking for 21 years, a heel turn. But we will get into this match first, and then we will get into the heel turn. So we just have to say the signs were already there. They were plotted. They were planted. We just didn't pay attention. At least I didn't pay attention to it. Because, something may feel off, but you just don't pay attention to it. And then till all of a sudden you go to the doctor of Thugonomics. And it's like, it's bad. We got to cut off your toe. You got gout. You got diabetes. So let's get into this. This is the men's elimination chamber. And before we start this, because it wouldn't make sense to a lot of people because they cut this if you didn't see this live. The show itself opened with the national anthem, which we are in Toronto, Canada, and we know political wise, they booed the hell out of it, which we understand why. Pat McAfee was losing his mind about this entire situationship. But Logan Paul enters, and he's carrying the American flag because he is a troll.
Such cheap heat.
Yeah.
He's waving the flag around. And for the record, Peacock, if you watch the replay, cut the entire segment. So it just starts with the Elimination Chamber. You wouldn't have seen the national anthem. You wouldn't have seen the booing. And they even cut parts of Pat McAfee because he keeps bringing it up like 15,000 times about how angry he is. They cut that part out too. So you just wouldn't understand why he's doing what he's doing. And also, before we start this, Drake was there. Drake, the Toronto Canadian rapper, was in the audience. If you looked on the Twitter and the Instagrams and social media, he was there. But guess where he was not? Not on WWE social media. Not on the WWE show. And the one thing that they love are their celebrities. They didn't mention it. They didn't say anything. And I have only mentioned that because there are parts in this Elimination Chamber where Logan Paul starts yelling, he draws with a marker, OVO and humble. And you would like, why is he doing that? Because Drake is in the audience. Do you know how bad it is when an entire country does not acknowledge your existence and you live there? You're Canadian? Incredible. Okay, so Logan Paul enters waving the American flag because he's a troll. Then Damian Priest enters. CM Punk enters. And then he does, he tries to attack Logan. Doesn't work. John Cena enters. And, John Cena, my time is up, my time is now. And everyone's happy. And he says, I'm looking at body language. I'm looking at the seeds. He says, last time is now. And he's smiling. So he is his old fashioned smiley self, right? And he says, he's just ready. He's ready for everything. So, then Drew enters. Then, of course, Seth, dressed as some kind of Pokemon character, enters. I don't know where he gets his outfit from, but I love it. So then it starts with Seth and Drew, and they're fighting in front of Punk. Everyone wants to show off for Punk this entire match. So they're fighting in front of Punk, and they're yelling at Punk as they're beating up each other. And then it gets to the point where they keep smashing Punk's pod with their bodies that his light falls out. It completely falls down. And it's a thing because on social media, he can't get it to stay back up. So during the entire pod, the time that he's in the pod, he's trying to adjust the light.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why the crowd starts randomly cheering CM Punk's name. It's because the light keeps falling down and he keeps having to fix it.
He's losing a match with the light, pretty much, and they're chanting for him.
He's losing a match with light. So that's what happened. So then, this is when it gets interesting because Pat McAfee brings it up, and I'm like, I don't understand. Logan Paul teases Drake, and with a black marker, he writes OVO and humble on the pod. And you would have never caught this, but that is what happens. So he's busy teasing Drake the entire time. Drew and whatchamaface, Seth are fighting. CM Punk is fighting with his light. This was all over the place. Then on top of that, then Damian Priest comes out, right? And then Logan Paul comes out. Then comes Cena. And everybody's just cleaning house. They clean the house. Then we get the 5-knuckle shuffle and then he pulls it into an attitude adjustment on the Priest, and then Priest rolls up into McIntyre. So we have that. Then it's the Claymore to Priest. Logan Paul all of a sudden comes out, climbs on top, does a frog splash. That was cute. He does it from the top of the pod, which is cute, but okay. And this is what it reminds me. Kenny Omega says, Logan Paul is a really great wrestler for people who've never seen wrestling.
Yes. That's a good way to put it.
So he'll give you a show, but it's not wrestling. So then all of a sudden, we have Punk versus Paul, and they've been fighting with each other. They've been screaming at each other the entire time. So Punk is fighting Paul, Cena's fighting Punk, and then all of a sudden, Seth goes, he's mine. So they're fighting everybody's just a hot mess, fighting back and forth. Okay, and then we have the GTS to Punk. So then it's Cena, Seth, and Punk. Cena and Seth ends up working together, which we all know is a callback from their olden days. Okay? So then after that, this is the part where it's like, this is gonna, my emotions are all over the place. This is an emotional moment. Cena goes to shake Punk's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, Punk hugs him. Mm-hmm. We know the animosity between these two. That whole match, remember with that famous look of with Punk getting the belt and blowing a kiss? That was to Cena. And he walked out and we never saw him again. So we got the emotions right there and everyone's just really happy to see each other. Okay? So then what happens? Punk hugs him and then he tries to do the Anaconda Vice. Then the attitude adjustment to Punk. Then Seth got Cena to completely crash through the pod. So he's crashed through, hot mess, and we get a pedigree to Punk by Seth. Then he buckle bombs him and stomps Punk. Punk then GTS's and attitude adjustment to Seth Rollins. Seth is eliminated. Okay? So, storyline, still good. Okay, so then after that, we get a So, okay, CM Punk drags him to the ropes, and Seth, like I said, curb stomp him, and then Punk. Here's the thing. So he's crashed out, right? And this is the part that's interesting, and it's a call back to their previous matches from years before. Okay, CM Punk gets dragged to the rope. Seth stomps Punk. Cena, without hesitation, chokes out Punk. Now, why is that something? Because when that happened a long time ago, Cena did this whole inner dialogue with waiting for the ref. Should he just go and attack him? What's going on? But this time, he does it without hesitation. Everything he does is without hesitation this time, which is interesting because we have to go back to the press conference from Royal Rumble. What did Cena say? Remember, he never made it to the Elimination Chamber. He said, "I'm going to take it." He took that spot from him. He took his spot in general, and he added himself into the Elimination Chamber. Like, that's weird, because we all know Cena says, "Please, may I earn my way. I respect the laws. I respect everyone." Right? This time he bamboozled. He just pushes his way through. There's no hesitation when it came to anything, right? This time. So it's like, is it desperation? What's going on? Remember, this is his last moment. This is his last year. This is his farewell tour. So maybe it's just, oh, it's desperation, right? And this is when we get the whole, "I'm sorry," and he's choking out Punk. Remember, Seth has already been eliminated. Seth is screaming, "Die, just die." So he's like, "Die, die." And remember, he always wants somebody to die. When he hates you, he screams, "Just die." Remember when he did the Edge thing? And it was, "Why won't you die?" And kicked him in the face?
Yeah.
So we got that whole thing. And he said, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." And he choked out Punk. Punk never tapped. He never said, "I quit." He never did anything. He fought to the end. He fought until he passed out. He died in the ring. Because why? That's how willing he was to go to WrestleMania. Well, he said, "I will die for this spot." And Seth was like, "Die, bitch, die." So that whole situation there. And then we know that he won. Everyone's happy. I'm a little like, oh, Cody comes out. And of course we're like, well, this is going to be real simple. He's going to, see you at WrestleMania. We're going to get a face versus a face. What were your thoughts on just that part right there? Because that other part, 21 years as
Thoughts
an
on the
adult.
match so far?
Thoughts on the match. Because technically, that is the end of the match.
Yeah.
He won. He fought his way through. He said, "I'm sorry." So it wasn't like, anything wrong happened. He didn't do anything wrong in that entire match. He said, he shook the man's hand. He went to shake him. He hugged him. That's my broski. I love you. Punk went and turned his back on every single person in that company. And what did he say to him? He said, "I love you." And he said, "I'm sorry, but I'm taking my spot." What are your thoughts?
I'll go first. So to the beginning first, McIntyre, I am tired of his crybaby thing that he's been doing for a while now. I'm over it. I'm ready for something new with that. So like him losing and stuff, I was over it. I was like, okay, cool, you lost. You're crying again? Are you serious? Just get out of there. Just go. So I'm tired of it. Yeah, they need to move on with that. And then Logan, I'm already tired of him, and he's barely been on a wrestler. He's there for nothing but star power because he has heat, and I think it's a bullshit heat. I don't think it's a legitimate heat. I think it's truly like the real type of heat that you don't want. And I don't think they see that. So I'm over him. I'd rather see Bad Bunny right now than Logan Paul. Like Bad Bunny was actually a better wrestler than when he showed up on the Puerto Rico PLE than Logan Paul has the entire time he's been there. So I don't think the match itself got really good and emotional until John Cena and Punk hugged. And we had that moment, and then they're fighting against each other, and then Seth Rollins was in on it, and that was a good three-way good stuff going on with them emotionally, psychologically in the ring with all three of them. And then that moment where he's just like die, and Cena does not hesitate. He takes advantage of it. I didn't see Punk winning, and I know Punk likes to mess around with people on social media. You never truly know like if he's like trying to troll people or he's really telling the truth. But he had made a statement, and he has said that he's at this point in his career that he doesn't care if he's in the main event at WrestleMania. He said it would be nice and it would be great. So if it happens, it happens. But like he's not really aiming towards that. Like if someone else ends up taking it, then he'll just deal with it and roll with it and stuff like that. So I kind of felt that, and I was just like, I think he kind of really means it. So I didn't see Punk winning because this is Cena's last year, and Cena should take advantage of it. So it was no surprise, but the way it was done very well, with like Punk looking at Seth's face while he's getting STFU'd and just I could just picture like through the eyes of Punk just watching Rollins go die, and then his lights just fade away, and that's the last thing he saw before he lost the match. So I can still see Punk having a feud with Rollins at WrestleMania again, because I still think that the heat with them two is still pretty good for them to have another match together. And then so he's still got something for WrestleMania. And then Cena wins, and I know we'll go on with that. So like with the match overall, my rating again, another 4.5. Mostly because the first half of the match was like just okay. It didn't pick up until we had the Punk Cena Rollins stuff going on.
Okay, so Danny, you mentioned Bad Bunny, and something that really gnawed at me was for was it Backlash in Puerto Rico 2 years ago? Bad Bunny against Damian Priest should have main evented that show.
Hell yeah.
It was the best match, and the crowd loved it. They had Cody versus Brock main event, and that was a bullshit match that had a bad finish, and it was just like, what a bad way to close that. They really screwed up by not having, Bunny
two
and
Puerto Ricans.
Yes, like two Puerto Ricans, and they totally stole the show. It was incredible. That was an awesome show all around. But let's get back into this. I can't say too much about the match up until the final three because I had to take a phone call, and so I ended up missing out a good chunk of it. I missed the entrances and all that stuff, family stuff. But I will say, I did see the moment in the ring with Cena and Punk getting in there, and I saw Cena say to Punk, "I missed you," and then Punk said, "I missed you too," and that was a very heartwarming thing, considering that where they were, what was it, 14 years ago, when they're both jockeying for position as the top of the company, there may have been, some professional respect, but also a little bit of animosity with Cena being the guy and Punk trying to earn his way up there. I feel that now, with so much time has gone by, there's that whole, there's a little bit of a brotherhood there. So that was a cool thing to see. And then Seth Rollins, that stuff with him and Punk is not done with by a long shot, because you got to remember back at the Royal Rumble back in it was at the end of January, I think, right? The Rumble, Punk eliminated both Rollins and Roman Reigns while they were having their own little wobble. And then that's when you had Rollins attack both Roman Reigns and Punk. And I feel like that's going to be a match at WrestleMania, those three. Now you have Rollins costing Punk in the chamber after Punk cost Rollins by pinning him, even though it was both a GTS and an attitude adjustment that ended it for him. But yeah, that's not done at all. But I did find it funny, like Rollins like saying like die, just die, and then the smile on his face when when the bell rang and Cena was declared the winner. But then there was another shot of Rollins then kind of like once that joy went out, it's that realization like, oh, I still lost. Like he just kind of sat there with his back to the against the cage, and just like the smile went away, and he was just like, oh, like another opportunity was lost. So that resentment's still there. He at the end of the day, Punk's like he may have cost Punk, but Punk cost him too. He's still pissed off about it, and it's like I still got to deal with this guy, and I know that Punk is thinking I still got to deal with this guy. And Roman's just waiting to just show up and Jade style and just go after both these guys. Like this is far from over. That's going to be a main event for night one at WrestleMania, I believe. And if they decide to throw Drew in there as a fourth guy, okay. I think it doesn't need him in it because he wasn't part of that elimination at the Royal Rumble. So that's whatever. Let's go into Cena winning this match. And I really like the point that Dana made about, and I think this was a callback to, was it Money in the Bank when Punk won it? When Punk won it off of Cena in Chicago, you'll remember Vince McMahon, that bastard, came out and he was going to get involved and make sure that Cena won. And Cena came out like, no, we're doing this the right way. We're doing this the honorable way. He goes back in the ring, GTS, and is pinned. Cena's desperate because he's tired of losing. He had mentioned he went years since his last win in the ring, and with him like losing at the Royal Rumble, coming this close to winning it, and I think the Jey Uso victory surprised everyone. That's Cena in kayfabe being like, this isn't working. The way I'm doing it is not working, so I don't gotta earn nothing. I've already earned it. My name is John Cena. I'm just putting I'm entitled to this shot in the chamber because I'm John Cena. And that definitely was like he tried to frame it as like, oh, because I want to be able to shake the hand of the person that beats the record down the line. Oh, but because it's best for business. Where have we heard best for business before? Right? That's some corporate stuff right there, So there were signs there, but I was, and we'll get into what happened after the Elimination Chamber. But it's just, I remember like I was talking with other people. I think I was talking to Richard in a private chat about the possibility of Cena turning heel, but it's like it's too late. This is his go away tour. This is going to be a love fest from now until the end. There's not enough time to do a heel run, so that disarmed me for this. I thought Punk would be the guy to sell out. I was wrong, but anyway, Cena won this thing. He choked out Punk right away. Didn't think about it. Just, I better grab him and do this. And he's like, I'm sorry. And that's the thing, that him saying I'm sorry is also disarming because you're thinking like, okay, he's a man of good moral standing. He knows that it's not right that Seth Rollins did this, but he's got to win. You think that he's just a desperate guy, and he gave Punk a chance to kick out instead of pinning him. He gave him a chance to kick out, and that was it. But man, what happened afterwards? Oh, Dana, let's get your thoughts on this, cuz.
I don't know. What happened afterwards? You know, it was that, and it went off, and it was a great night. No, I thought, to me it was kind of weird. This was such like an I hate CM Punk fest, and kind of everyone loves John Cena fest. I originally thought that it was going to be CM Punk who won, but it wasn't until he did an interview, I think on Saturday or Friday, where it was like, it's okay if I don't win. And I'm like, where is that coming from? So it's like, oh, okay, so then John Cena's gonna win and he's gonna get screwed again. So it was like, okay, but I just thought, why not John Cena win? It is his goodbye tour. I know that people hate when it's like the guy who's going out ends up being the one who wins. But to me, again, John Cena's so nice. He's done so much for the company. Why would he not, get the belt? I'm pretty sure he's put so many people on the map, 21 years. Why not have him win? And it's good to see him still be able to wrestle. The knees are still kneeing. The elbow is still greased. I still can't see him. Who is this person anyway who won? So I'm happy for him. So I thought that it was such a weird love fest for me because everyone, once again, they love Cena. And here's the weird part. Punk is not the same Punk as before. Like, they both want to win, but it's not the same arrogance. Everyone's saying, hey, I missed you. Oh, I love you. That kind of thing. He came back. I'm a new me. So it's not like he's going to go and start pulling a Tony Khan and killing everyone and people are going to fear for their lives. Like, he's okay with, just sitting off to the side for the moment. He'll be at WrestleMania. He just won't main event WrestleMania. He'll have another chance. John Cena won't have that chance again. And so it was so interesting. Hindsight is 2020. But when he said, I'm sorry, to me, it immediately reminded me of, remember Ric Flair versus Shawn Michaels?
Yeah.
HBK. All that was missing was the I love you, I'm sorry. Because that's what it gave me. It gave me an I'm sorry. But even when he said I'm sorry, it was like, I don't want to do this, but I have to because I want to win. And I was like, okay, this man is just desperate to win. And that's good. I like it. Fight back. That's all you need to do is just fight back a little bit. Vince is not there. And even when you do the whole what's best for a business, and we'll get into that monologue because there's a lot of layers to that monologue now. It's really hard for somebody to separate themselves from a monster because they didn't know that version of a monster. That monster never approached them. So it's okay if he says it's best for business. You could argue, that's your wrestling dad. That's his dad. He gave him a shot, a chance. And we all know that John Cena, no matter what he does, period, he's always going to be WWE. He's going to put on that suit. And I think if, Shawn Michaels and well, I can't say Shawn Michaels anymore. He has no thing. Not Shawn Michaels. I was thinking of Triple H. Isn't it sad that Triple H really got railroaded in life and he's not the head of the company? He's creative. But that's a whole topic for a whole nother thing. But anyway, I just feel that, if anyone was to be a part of the board of TKO, it would definitely should have been John Cena, just because he knows the company. He knows
He would learn
business.
Korean for the company or Chinese. Well, Cantonese?
Mandarin.
Yeah, Mandarin. Yeah.
He learned Mandarin, and that was a whole controversy there. But the point is, he knows things. He's willing to go out there. He always tries. He's the best at what he does. He's a darn good actor, and we'll get into that acting. But he's, what I mean? He's everything that I think WWE wanted when it started. So it's okay. He's fighting and he's gonna win the belt. And you let him win the belt and carry it around a couple of times until he'll decide to vacate it nicely and gently. You know, what's best for business. So for me, I thought that it was a very good match. I'm going to be very honest with you. I'm kind of tired of Drew. That whole CM Punk battle when he had with Drew was great when it happened. I don't need multiple years of him saying, you know, still harboring on this and still him hating CM Punk. I love you, Drew, but we don't need you for WrestleMania. We don't need you for any match in WrestleMania. I'm sorry. I don't want a triple way, a 5-way, an orgy, nothing. Just go. So that's good right there.
Man.
Seth, I feel is he's carried so much emotion for WWE in general. Look at what happened during WrestleMania 41. The man lost his knees because of that. But it was because of him Cody was able to win. Because remember, he knew what to do to set off Roman. So that whole, he's always been this emotional thread when it came to matches. And I think him just screaming, you know, die, die, you know, it's something that gives emotion to a match. And you could feel that sheer hatred. And, you know, he talked about it like him as a red person. There was that animosity between him and Punk. I think the whole company hated Punk at one time. And you just kind of, you know, he just never let that go. And I just kind of love that about him. But I thought that emotionally, he set the tone because it also showed that desperation. If I can't win, can you just die? I want you to die. I don't want your existence to be here anymore. Just die. So I love that about him. And then going with the whole John Cena, once again, no signs of nothing. He was just a desperate man. This was just a desperate old man. You know, his whole model is, you can't see me. For once it was, I want to be seen. Please. Please. That's all. So I truly loved the emotional part of this entire match. I thought it was really great. I had zero problems with John Cena winning. I had zero problems even if CM Punk won. But I love the fact that John Cena won. My entire brain was like, okay, so it's a face versus a face. That's nice. It doesn't stand out. It's hard to get invested, but he's leaving. So that's the part where you root for. You want him to win because he's leaving. Cody's still staying. He's building his family there. And I think, again, Cody is a great company man. And they kept saying it. To, you know, from when he came in and they was throwing chickens at him. He's just that great company man. And again, it was a reflection to me of Punk. You don't always get what you want. But when you do get it, you get what you need. It's going to take some time. Because remember, Cody didn't win right away. Cody lost. And then it took an entire company to make sure that he won. So it's all right. It's all right, Punk. You got a couple more years left. Just don't do anything wild. Yep.
By the way, I'm calling it right now. I'm going to be the first one in the coalition to make this to announce this prediction. When Cena wins that 17th belt, his final match to lose that belt should and will be Punk. Like, I think his final retirement match should be Punk. And that's because of that emotional tie between them two. All that stuff that you talked about with the both of them. I always saw Cena as that yes man of the company, and Punk was the one that always caused the waves. And that conflict of personalities, I think, always went so well together. And I think it still shows because Punk is still kind of that person, but he's more mature about it now. And Cena still, I mean, you know how I feel about Punk as a professional person. So, so I think it would still be perfect. They have a lot of history together, a lot of animosity that they have matured over. I just think it's a perfect send off for the both of them. And then at the end, they could literally be almost that HBK Ric Flair moment. is that Punk finally gets his chance at the getting the belt again, and Punk is like, I'm sorry, I love you, go to sleep, and then put him to rest, and then it'll be ending right there. And mind you, like, and I'll tell you this right now too, like, we all love Cena. I'll tell you right now, just like that moment when Roman was trying to get shoved down our throats to be the face of the company. For a very long time, Vince would not let up on that stuff, and everybody hated it for it. I felt that same way about Cena back in the day. Like when Cena was building up, I hated Cena. I could not stand Cena as a wrestler, as a person, as the face of the company. And I don't know when it started, like, because even during Hollywood, I'm like, what are you doing in Hollywood? Like, I don't want to see you. I can't stand you. But there was just some point. I don't know when it was, but there was just a moment. It was just like, I like you. You're warming up to me. And now, like, I don't want to see him go. I don't want to see him retire. But I mean, it's gonna happen, and I hope it happens in the best way.
But that's how long we've been with Cena, the 21 years with the ups and the downs and the emotions, and this is why I was like, he's gonna win. And I didn't think anything about him not hesitating because it's been 21 years.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's fine. It's gonna be amazing. So that was my thought. I thought I would have given the entire match 5 stars. Wrestling was great. Even Logan Paul's existence, whatever. Everything was fine. You know, I think I wanted to see more of a Paul versus Drake than anything because they was going at it the whole time. And the fact that you're in Canada and Canada won't even acknowledge your existence.
Yeah.
Good. And WWE loves their celebrities. But yeah, the entire thing was a 5. And then of course, you know, Cody comes out. They shake hands, and that's the end of the night. That's the end of the match. That's the end of everything.
Goodbye, everybody.
So,
Yeah.
bye everyone.
Got
See you next time.
the logo on the bottom. Good night, everybody. Yep.
Paul back.